So what is the higher purpose for you? Is it even possible? What does that look like for you? I can start for myself. It's surrender. I have accepted for limited shopping, having accepted it for family gatherings. Yes. I can't, like, it's so much is beyond me. I have an exercise for surrendering, and I call it the God box. And I have on my email, I have a folder that's called God. So there are a lot of things that are beyond my control that if I actually tried to force something, I'm going to make it worse. So that things that are beyond my control, I'll put it in the God box, call it the SMART box, call it the universe box. And I vow not to touch it for 3 months. And 99% of what I put in that God box takes care of itself. So when changes have happened in the past at the college, yeah, a reminder how small we really, absolutely, we are so small, we are so insignificant, and we are. And once again, there's peace in that, that you're not in charge, that you're not God. Yeah, you can only control yourself. Yeah, but equally, this is the paradox once again, that we have impact on the moment. We have impact on the person in front of us. That we have impact on areas of their life that we have no idea. Everybody in some way or another, either directly as an educator or as a supporting function. You have changed the lives of so many people without even knowing it. Yes, I love that. So when you try to control things, that ends up controlling you 100%. So working on going with the flow. Back to that level of acceptance, that higher purpose, the parents out there, the spouses, all of these things. What guides you? What is your North Star? When we have problems, I guarantee we're looking down. When we have difficulty and stressors, they're on repeat. They just have a different name. But when everybody, wherever you are right now, like look physically, look up, what that does is it expands all of you and makes you more open-minded, more flexible. And so if you think about your problems, our problems like COVID, they're on different planets. We have COVID, the problem, and the solution that's in the moment are independent of each other. So when I'm looking for acceptance, when I'm thinking about what my North Star is that my North Star, as I'm sure very much are yours, is that next generation. So that when I had my job interview all those years ago, I was yes, your faith, God, all those things think about the ancestors that came before you that are whispering in your ear saying, you know what, you got this, you can do this. But when we're looking down, we can't look up to all these things that are beyond us, and that the solutions are never in the problem. And the idea, once again, that COVID's bigger than us. The universe is bigger than us. I mean, they're openly talking on NBC about the aliens that have always been here, whatever it is, but our North Star will guide us in ways that our problems never will. So if you were, everybody wants right now, write down in the chat, please, what is your North Star? What is the mantra, the quote, the one thing that keeps you going through this time? What is a quote? If you want to put a quote or a mantra in there, I'd love you to put it in there. What guides you? Your faith? It could be your kids. It could be an actual mantra. What keeps you going that allows you to look up and beyond what's happening right now? Your family, I love it. Absolutely, your family. And they're watching and they're listening. Yes, and your kids, 100%. The best version of you. And that, yes, you have it. And look at how much you've already overcome. Look at how much you've already overcome. This is that quote that I love too. Viktor Frankl love Carl Jung, and Viktor Frankl, if you're familiar with him, he was in a concentration camp and he went on to become a psychiatrist. And he talked all about that when we cannot change a situation, that we're forced to change ourselves. That we're forced to change ourselves, right? So this is the essence of the work that you do in SWAC. This is the essence of the work you do with the dual credits. That you have students that have been through so much. This is why I love teaching at the college, because you get every type of student. So one of my very first questions I ask students is, who is the first generation college student? Who's the first one in their family to go to college or university? And I also love to find out who rode the bus to get to class, how many buses they have to take to get to class. And I celebrate that. That's what we're talking about, grit. We're talking about perseverance. When I did IQ tests, psych assessments in the school system, I would often say to the parents, you know, you might have a child that has a lower than average IQ, but has emotional intelligence through the roof. That, like, just the way that our students teach us. And once again, we are not victims of this. We're victors of this. And by the way, be a victim, 10 minutes of every hour. But the other 50 minutes, remind yourself of what your North Star is and how you came through it and how you will come through it. Because this won't take you down. If it took you down, you wouldn't be here right now. This 100% won't take you down. And so the idea, once again, is that we need stress to grow, that we can have it work for us once, not against us. It's the idea that if it's too easy, we're bored. If it's too easy, we fall asleep. And if it's too difficult, we're over aroused and we want to give up. So I always use myself as my own test subject and imagine what it's like for our students. And that if we remember that what our North Star is, that it will certainly help guide us through the journey from stress to strength. And by the way, no one ever masters this. You will when you're dead. As I often say to my students, the only place that's stress-free is in the casket, and nobody's in a hurry for that. This is part of life. It's an expectation that we don't help ourselves or anybody but saving, but we can help them over and through it. So that is really the main point of the 3 C's of thriving under pressure, and that pressure will always be there, but we can reduce the amount of pressure. None of us can do what we did before. We have to give up so much of what we did before that wasn't relevant, and that we start to move into a place of ownership of our life, that we fine-tune different parts of our lives, and that we revisit all the reasons on the deal. It's not going to show up. Here it is right now. That we revisit all the reasons why you became a teacher in the first place. So even when I was going through trying to accept this, losing my motivation, not being, by the way, it's a daily thing. Is it not? I'd have to get so deep into why did I choose psychology? Why? Like, what's your original why? And whatever that purpose is, make it so small. So when I'm working with my students, so we have like a big sort of motivate before the test, I explain to them when I'm not feeling it, which is often, because by the way, motivation, the Latin term for it is movere. We move and then we're motivated. No one ever feels like working out. No one ever feels like working. But if you sit down at that desk for 10 minutes at a time and say, when that timer goes off, you can quit if you want. Most people don't quit. So whatever it is you need to do, I show them, because now it's all visual, right? I show them a little checklist. That's the purpose. And I show them, and when I'm not feeling motivated, I just do it 5 minutes at a time. And then I check it off, and damn it, I'm the boss. So that's a big part of purpose. Purpose is also who you are. So that whatever another thing that I talk about with students too, is that all of the students are going to graduate with the same skill level in nursing. So think about the different programs you're in. What sets them apart is their personality, is their strengths, is their uniqueness. So another way of thinking about purpose, this is not a job. The reason purpose is not a job is that would mean that we have no purpose before the age of 18 and we have no purpose after the age of 60. Purpose is your strength. So if I wasn't a teacher, if I wasn't a psychologist, I would be the best damn greeter at Walmart you've ever met, because that is my strength. I'm a connector. And so purpose, when we talk about purpose being really small, is that you don't have to wait until you're a nurse to be a caregiver. You can be a caregiver every single day. You know, think about your grandparents and even your parents. Once they retire, they mean something. What they do is meaningful. So that is another way that you can break your purpose down. And that helps with motivation. Like the thing about motivation, when we talk about North Star, you have to come at it in all the ways. You have to come at it in all the ways, because one way is not going to work today and one way is not going to work tomorrow. And when you explain that to your students too, then you can show them how you ignite your motivation, how you ignite your energy, how you find, and some days, you know what? Some days it's a 0 day, and that's okay too. You know, that's okay too. So we're going to move into the final part, which I do in my own classroom on a regular basis, which is ask me anything. Any questions you have about a topic that we've gone over, anything, feel free. And this is the wrapping up the 3 C's of thriving under pressure, and seeing, once again, normalizing abnormal parts of yourself that you've never seen before. So you can ask me anything about any of the content. And so Christy's talking about volunteering with the Ontario Distress Center gives her a sense of purpose. Barista, being of service to others, right? A quote around that is the idea that, you know, the purpose of the life is to find what you're good at, and the other purpose is to give it away. Make sure you save some for yourself too. And watch out for the takers, because there are 2 kinds of people in life, the givers and the takers. And the takers see you coming. So one way to have a boundary around that is make sure that it's, for a certain extent, reciprocated. And I also love to give to strangers, because I have no expectations of getting anything in return. So I tell you, the highlight of my day is smiling at people and seeing them smile back behind their mask. Okay, so thanks, Adriana. You know, that my PhD research was on teacher enthusiasm, and smiling was part of it, and how it signals to the students that if we're interested in what we're teaching, like my favorite professor, thank you, was a calculus professor. And he was just so damn excited about calculus, and I thought, my God, that must be interesting. So positive emotion is important in the classroom, because it once again signals to students that you're excited about what you're learning. And what my research found is that it creates interest in the topics, motivation, engagement, and enhances learning, for sure. Yeah, so I love seeing your faces there too. So any questions you have about the content? I know this is quite a long time for us to be together. And the other Andrea, we call it Team Andrea, want to come out. Any questions you have for me about the content, you know, about psychology in general? This is, as I shared before, like health psychology brings us all together. What we're talking about is psychoneuroimmunology. And it's psychoneuroimmunology is the connection between our thoughts, and it's legit. It's not just Pollyanna stuff. How we think affects our immune system, because once again, research around, I'll come hang out with you, Cindy, for sure. How we perceive something impacts our immune system. It also impacts our recovery. And research around health psychology has shown, and this is why, you know, I do a lot of work around optimism, which is a mindset,